What's up, everybody? Derek Anderson, the DA. All right, check it out. I wanted to talk about this topic here because I saw this tweet on X popping up discussing the situation with Splash Mountain, the ride at Disney parks all over. If you aren't aware, they're going to basically do away with the Splash Mountain ride because they feel that it's racist and it glorifies slavery and all of this kind of gobbledygook and nonsense. All right, this woke individual, Michelle, I don't know who she is or if it's a guy or you never know these days. All right, with these woke SJWs, you never know what the hell they are. But yeah, they say Splash Mountain needed to be changed. A ride based on anything that glorifies slavery should never exist. The Save Splash Mountain people need to build a bridge and get over it. Tiana's Bayou adventure will be amazing, and I'm absolutely here for it. All right, so I want to discuss this. If you guys aren't aware of the situation, a Splash Mountain is the ride that you see at Disney parks everywhere, Disney World, Disneyland, everywhere, all over the world. And it's based on the movie Song of the South, which I want to say came out back in like 1947 or so. It's the story of Uncle Remus. He's an elderly black man, and he's basically telling stories to this grandson of a plantation owner. It's Br'er Rabbit, Br'er Bear, Br'er Fox, all the characters that you see inside of Splash Mountain. That's basically what the movie is about, and here's the thing. Here's the problem with all of that, okay? It's because it takes place in the South. It's because it has an elderly black man, and he's, spitting whimsical tales out to this kid, and he's making it sound like everything is just great and everything is wonderful, wherever in his life, and I guess they wanted this guy to be down on his luck and downtrodden and pissed off or whatever. I don't know what they wanted Uncle Remus in this movie to be, all right? But they're pissed off that, it's glorifying slavery, because one of the reasons is that he sings that song Zippitydah. I want to say this chick even gets into it. Where is it at? Yeah, like the Uncle Remus sings Zippitydah, portraying the lead as being happy on the plantation during the Reconstruction period. So yeah, they're saying that this guy should have been pissed off and angry and throwing a fit and all of that kind of stuff. What you doing singing Zippitydah, bro? And maybe some black people say the same. I'm not even saying or taking anything away from that. But for one, it doesn't glorify slavery or racism. It is a black man trying to cheer up a kid, telling him some fun stories. That's pretty much all it is. And, also at that time, black people still had like an optimistic outlook of life, especially post-slavery. So yeah, a Zippitydah type song is absolutely going to resonate with people from that time period. Yeah, life might have been tough, when we look back on it now, but you got to think like cats just got freed from slavery. They probably feeling like, yo, man, things are looking up, things are looking a lot better than they was looking, 10, 20 years ago, when they're in Reconstruction. So, to say that Zippitydah is, portraying the lead as being happy on the plantation during the Reconstruction period, I'm sure there were some people that were upset, but then it's like it's a positive outlook on the future for people saying, yo, we got something to look forward to. We're no longer enslaved. At least that's how I always looked at it. Not to mention the fact that Zippitydah is just a great song. I associate that song in my personal life more with Disney and Disneyland than anything, because I can always remember walking through Main Street and that song would just be pumping out over the speakers, Zippitydah, I'll be like, yeah, man, I'm at Disneyland, time to have a good time, but they don't want it. Oh no, we got to get that history up out of here, and it's because it really honestly is all these companies. It's not just Disney that's doing this bullshit. It's all of these companies, like this whole situation you saw it with these Aunt Jemima and Uncle Ben and all of these, black symbols on these popular products. They try to get rid of them. It's like post George Floyd. We got to get rid of all of these, I guess, quote unquote stereotypes of black characters and everything out there. We got to get rid of these, Mrs. Butterworth, the cream of wheat man, I don't know if the cream of wheat man actually got ixnayed. I haven't had cream of wheat in a minute, but, it's like they got to get rid of these characters, because some woke black progressives started whining about it on social media. Oh my God, this is so racist what they're doing with Aunt Jemima, with Uncle Remus. And it's like, come on, y'all. But Disney, of course, being Disney, they're going to rush, all right? All of these companies, they're going to rush to see who can virtue signal the hardest, who can virtue signal the fastest, all right? Who going to be the first one to get all of these little troublesome icons out here so we can look the best, so we can be the best, sound the best, being the first ones to be on the right side of history and all of that crap.
How great are we?
Like, that's what this is all about. This has nothing to do with this stuff because it's not racist. All right. It's not racist. As a matter of fact, what really kind of troubles me about it, you know, as this person is just going on and on and on, defending their nonsense. They're saying, you're like, even Disney even hired a black writer, Clarence Muse, for the film, who quit because of the racist stereotypes presented in the film. But see, she don't bother to mention all the black people that absolutely had zero problem with it. You can see in this IndieWire article, the Song of the South, 13 Things to Know About Disney's Most Controversial Movie. Now, check this out. Yeah, this piece says not all black press hated the movie. This guy, Richard Dyer of the Afro-American, called the film as vicious a piece of propaganda for white supremacy as Hollywood ever produced. But Herman Hill, who was USC's first black basketball player and later became a civil rights activist and journalist, wrote in the Pittsburgh Courier that the film could prove of inestimable goodwill in the furthering of interracial relations. He labeled the criticisms of the film as unadulterated hogwash, symptomatic of the unfortunate racial neurosis that seems to be gripping so many of our humorless brethren these days. Yeah, it sounds about right now, don't it? Sounds a lot like what's going on right now. All the racial neurosis. You know, everybody like this chick, Michelle, you know, flipping her lid. You know, all the Jim Crow laws. Yeah. You know, it's a movie, chick. Slow your roll. It's just a movie. All right. But see, this wasn't the only one. Look at this one. Yeah, the film's cast stood behind the movie. OK. The Song of the South counts among its ensemble Hattie McDaniel, all right? That's Hattie McDaniel right there. You know, she's in the movie, all right? The Gone with the Wind star and the first black entertainer to win an Academy Award, and she took flack for Gone with the Wind, too. You know, people didn't like that she was playing the mammy. You know, so she took flack for that. But in a 1947 interview, she told the American publication, The Criterion, if I had for one moment considered any part of the picture degrading or harmful to my people, I would not have appeared therein. Her co-star, James Baskett, that's the guy that played Uncle Remus, echoed her support of the film, saying, I believe that certain groups are doing my race more harm and seeking to create dissension that can ever possibly come out of the Song of the South. Boom. Like, this is exactly what I'm talking about, man. Perfectly stated. Perfectly stated. That's exactly what's happening right now. These clowns over here, Michelle, whoever she is, sitting up there, oh, it glorifies slavery. You know, you should be ashamed of yourself even having this ride, Splash Mountain. And it's absolutely ridiculous. But the thing that's really frustrating and the thing that really pisses me off probably the most about it is that these people, they don't understand that these stories, all right, these stories are a piece of American history, and they're also an actual piece of African history and African folklore, because the stories of Br'er Rabbit, all right, those actually, they have their origination or their roots from Africa itself. Yeah, so check this out. Br'er Rabbit is the trickster hero of an oral tradition passed down by African slave workers of the southern United States. Dozens of stories tell the exploits of this trickster bunny, who, though small and weak, constantly outwits bigger and fiercer creatures such as Br'er Fox, Br'er Wolf, and Br'er Bear. The origins of Br'er Rabbit can be traced to the folk stories of Western, Central, and Southern Africa, where similar tales of trickster heroes continue to be a part of the folk tradition. Among the Akan traditions of southern Ghana and the Ivory Coast, the trickster is usually the spider Anansi. His stories are very similar in plot to the Br'er Rabbit tale. So I want you guys to understand what's happening here, that I think a lot of these woke idiots don't understand, all right? The Br'er Rabbit stories, it's an oral tradition. They didn't write this stuff down, all right? They didn't have written books that they could just go back and read. You know, they were telling these from memory. They were telling these stories from memory, and they were reciting this to, you know, people on the plantation during slavery. That's what was going down, okay? And a lot of these characters that they're discussing and these plots that they were discussing, these are the same stories, the oral traditions that were being passed down from generations to generations to generations. That's why I say it's an actual piece of African history and folklore. And what these idiots want to do, all right? What these morons want to do, these idiots like, you know, this Michelle chick, what they want to do is they want to erase actual history, okay? They want to erase actual African folklore. That's what they're doing, basically. That survived the Middle Passage. I want y'all to think about this for a minute, okay? These stories, these oral traditions, they survived a continent change. They survived a country change. They survived a language change. The language, all right? They weren't speaking the same language any longer. And all of this stuff survived all of that, and it lands in the form of Br'er Rabbit and Br'er Bear, and they end up in these Uncle Remus stories, and then it ends up in Song of the South, and then they just want to get rid of it. You know, all of that history, all of that tradition, get rid of it. But what do? Oh, let's replace it with some race swap bullshit. All right, let's replace it. Let's not tell stories about African mermaids. Plenty of stories about African mermaids you could tell. No, let's just race swap Ariel. Those are your stories now, black people. All right, that's what they're trying to do. They want to erase your shit. They want to take the original, you know, if you all blackity black, I'm strong and everything, great. But this is what Disney is doing. Princess and the Frog is not a black fairy tale. It's not a black folklore tale. All right. But Br'er Rabbit is. Nope, we got to get rid of that. We got to get rid of Br'er Rabbit. We got to get rid of all of these troublesome icons. Aunt Jemima and Uncle Ben, Uncle Remus, all of this stuff. We got to get rid of this crap. They won't actually adapt African folklore for you, and they won't let it survive once it is adapted. This is what y'all get to have, right? Right here. This is what you guys get to have. All right? Race-swapped Ariel. No. You don't get your own characters. Nah, you getting this race swap going on right here. That's what they want you to have, okay? This Danish story. We're going to take a Danish story, and then we're going to just, okay, let's race swap it, and there you go, black people. There you go, black people. Pat you on the head. Get on out of here, you crazy kids. That's what they doing. Or with the Princess and the Frog. The Princess and the Frog isn't even, what is it? I think it's a German story. It's the Frog Prince. It's a German story. You know, again, it's nothing to do with actual African folk tales and folklore and history or none of that. Br'er Rabbit, man, get that crap up out of here. That's racism. You know, but this ain't racist at all. What you see here, no, this ain't racist. You know, this is purity. You know, that's how I look at it, okay? Again, these clowns are the racists, you know, and the more y'all buy into it, I'm telling you, the more you buy into it, it's just like this guy was saying, doing my race more harm, okay? There's more harm, all right? Creating more dissension that could ever possibly come out of Song of the South. That's basically what's happening here. That's what Disney is doing. That's what Hollywood is doing, okay? They're just doing more harm. They're creating more dissension. That's all they're doing right now. That's what's crazy about it. And that's why, again, it's this erasure of history, you know, trying to, you know, cover up the uncomfortable parts of history, which in my opinion, just got to see it and understand, hey, history is going to be uncomfortable sometimes. That's the way history works, folks. It's not all going to be rainbows and sunshine. Sometimes it's going to be pretty ugly and you just got to deal with it. So if you feel some certain kind of way about this, which I don't, by the way, I think, hey, there's some positivities that you can see from the movie Song of the South. Like I said, you know, yeah, Zippitydah, yeah, black people are saying, hey, man, things is looking up. We out of slavery right now, you know? Yeah, when we look back and we look at what was going on, yeah, there were still a lot of problems. There were still a lot of issues. But coming from the context of that time, it's like, yo, hey, people were thinking, you know, this is a positive message right now for today, for that time. And we could take that same message of, hey, things is going to get better, all right? My, oh my, what a wonderful day. You know, things are going to get better. And that's the positivity that we need in society right now. And that's the positivity that they want to erase. They want to put a blanket over it and cover it up like it never happened. No, it's not the way it worked. We got to look at it and examine it. Leave the statues up so we can look at that and say, yeah, remember that. That was what was going down at that time. We got to understand it, you know, instead of knocking it down and destroying it and covering it up. And they just want to cover up the history. And when you cover up history, guess what? Later down the line, people ain't learning from the history of the past. Oh, well, because we covered it up. We hid it all the way. We don't want to see it anymore, you know? Well, you can't hide from the bad things that have happened in this world, unfortunately. That's just the way it goes, you know? But anyway, folks, I'm done. I'm off my soapbox. But I just wanted to talk about this situation because it did have an entertainment lens. And I am sad to see Song of the South or Splash Mountain go. Because I think Splash Mountain is a fun ride. I think a lot of families, you know, would have dug that, you know, in the future. And then on top of that, you know, hey, who is this Br'er Rabbit character? I've never seen this movie, Song of the South. Well, who is this character? Well, let's start dipping into it. Oh, wow, that came from like African tales, African folklore. Wow, I never knew that. Yeah, you cover all of that stuff up because you don't want to talk about it. All these other characters and everything is cool. That one, nope, we got to put a blanket over Song of the South. We got to put a blanket over African folklore and Br'er Rabbit and all of that. It's total horse shit. All right. But anyway, folks, that's all I got to say about it. You guys let me know what you think about this. Jump down in the comments. Give me your thoughts and opinions on that. And thanks for watching. See you next time.